my top 10 for Division 1 FBS football. It goes as follows. Georgia at 1. Ohio State 2. Tennessee moved up to number 3 for me, especially with that over a top 20 win over Kentucky in a blowout fashion. Tennessee's number 3 for me. Michigan 4, Clemson 5, Alabama 6, Oregon 7, TCU 8, UCLA 9, Utah 10. Teams outside like USC. USC is behind Utah for one reason. Head to head. Who won that game? Ole Miss is like number 12 for me. Illinois 13, Kansas State 14, maybe LSU number 15. Well, the new polls came out, both coaches and AP. And I'm going to go over the coaches poll then the AP poll. Coaches poll, same 8 teams, first 8 as last week, but USC went up to number 9. I think they still need to prove it. Ole Miss 10, UCLA 11, Utah 12, Illinois 13, Kansas State 14, North Carolina 15, Penn State 16, LSU 17, Oklahoma State 18, Wake Forest 19, NC State 20, 21 is Tulane, Syracuse is 22, Liberty 23, Kentucky 24, UCF at number 25. But I will say the coaches poll, the AP poll does have the same top 8. They do. In fact, number 9 is the same as well as the coaches poll. But number 10 is UCLA, number 11 is Ole Miss, number 12 is Utah. Kansas State's 13, especially after that win over Oklahoma State. Illinois 14, LSU 15, Penn State 16, North Carolina 17, Oklahoma State 18, Tulane 19. 20 is Wake Forest. 21 is NC State. Syracuse is 22. Liberty is number 23. Oregon State number 24. UCF at number 25. Well, College Game Day is headed to the Georgia versus Tennessee game. That's by far the best game coming up on this Saturday. That's no question. There's no need to debate that. I'm going to go over my picks. Oregon State at Washington. Washington right now is currently favored by 3.5. This is a tough game for me to pick. It really is tough, and I could see either way on this. But both defenses have problem against the pass. Both of them do. I mean, it's the truth based on the numbers. Ultimately, I think the upset happens. Washington knocks off Oregon State by a field goal. Ohio State at Northwestern. Do I have to really say Ohio State? TCU versus Texas Tech. Texas Tech's coming off of a loss to Baylor 45-17. I expect them to play a lot better than that game. And my advice for Texas Tech, don't use multiple quarterbacks. Use Barry Morton for the rest of the year. Get him some reps. I expect Texas Tech to play a lot better, and I know the defense got torched against Baylor, but TCU's defense is not that good either. This is going to be a shootout. TCU has the worst defense of the two in terms of numbers, and overall in passing defense allowed to. Rushing, Texas Tech has the worst of the two. I know it may sound, both teams give up at least 27.3 points per game. TCU does, and Texas Tech 29.3. I expect Texas Tech's offense to bounce back. They're going to put up points, and I'm picking them to win, to pull the upset in Fort Worth. Because eventually a TCU defense is going to catch up to them. It's going to. And I believe this is the game to do it. North Carolina at Virginia. North Carolina, I'm sorry. Wahoo Brad, I'm sorry about that. And I know you're probably thinking North Carolina wins anyway. And I just can't see the upset here. Tulane versus Tulsa. At Tulsa. Tulane. Tennessee at Georgia. Here's the biggest question to me. Can the defense for Tennessee step up like they did against Kentucky? Can they play like that? Because if they really, really do, I could totally see Tennessee winning this game. Somebody has to lose that first conference game, and this is a huge game because the SEC East is on the line here. This is by far the best quarterback that Georgia has seen. No offense to the other ones. The only thing that worries me is the Tennessee pass defense so far this year. I mean, I think the 9 points favor for Georgia is a little much, in my humble opinion. But Georgia averages 41.8 points per game and only give up 10.5. But Tennessee gives up 21 points per game and they score 49.4. The only weakness I see is Tennessee's pass defense. At least they have the ability, Tennessee does, to throw the ball. This is a pick'em, and I don't know why an ESPN match predictor says Georgia 74.9, Tennessee 25.1. I think it should be more of a 60-40 in favor of Georgia. I'm sorry, that college football guy. I just can't do it. It's going to be Georgia, but I wouldn't be shocked if Tennessee wins this game. I wouldn't be shocked. Because it's the truth. I could totally see that. I do. But it's on the road. And the Georgia defense is so good. Oregon at Colorado. Do I have to say this game? Oregon. Illinois versus Michigan State. Illinois. Penn State at Indiana. Keep in mind, Indiana did defeat Illinois the first game of the year, or early on this season, and Illinois has been on the run since. I think Penn State bounces. They better not have this is a potential letdown game, but I don't see it for Penn State. Oklahoma State at Kansas. Oklahoma State's only favored by 4 points. This is an absolute treading the water of a letdown, especially after that beatdown against Kansas State for Oklahoma State here. Spencer Sanders got dinged up a bit too, and they have injuries. My question, and the pass defense for Oklahoma State is terrible. I mean, this game's even on the road. That's the scary thing for Oklahoma State here. It's on the road. And I could totally see Kansas winning this game. It's more of a 50-50 game, which makes sense. Oklahoma State, according to my ESPN matchup predictor right now, 53.8 to Kansas's 46.2. What worries me is the defense for Kansas. They're not good either. But Oklahoma State is bad. I don't know if I don't know if Jalen Daniels is going to start for Kansas this week. I would not count on it. So Jason Bean's probably the guy for it. I know I'm going out on a limb. I'm picking Kansas to win of Oklahoma State. I would not be shocked if I'm wrong about this game. I just think Oklahoma State, I think they're going to play better, but the problem is their defense is terrible. But this is going to be one of those shootouts. I expect this game to be in the 40s, maybe even the 50s, definitely in the 30s. There's no question. And I know Mike Gundy's going to have his team ready. But I just think Kansas is coming off of a week of rest. And that's beneficial. Especially when it's at home. And Oklahoma State hasn't had a bye week since after the third game of the year. That's a problem. Syracuse at Pitt. Pitt's favored by 3.5. Syracuse did lose yesterday. Not yet. They lost to Notre Dame last week. That's probably the reason why Pitt's favored by 3.5 here. But I'm not feeling that Pitt vibe from me. I'm not. I think Syracuse wins. I'm sorry, Pitt. But I could be totally wrong about this game. UCF at Memphis. This is a potential letdown game, and UCF is favored by 6 points. Memphis does have a good offense. They do. But their defense is bad. I'm picking UCF to win. Though it wouldn't be shocking if this upset does happen. Liberty at Arkansas. Arkansas is favored by 13.5. Why is Arkansas favored? Liberty is by far the better team. I'm sorry. I'm calling the way it is. It's problem 1 at home. 2, Liberty hasn't played. Probably BYU is not that good. First of all, they're not as good as they used to be. They played UMass Gardner-Webb, Old Dominion, Akron, barely lost to Wake Forest, UAB, Southern Miss. They have not been tested like this. Arkansas is on the up and up, but the problem is the pass defense for Arkansas and the defense overall for Arkansas. That gives me enough reason to me. And this is by far Liberty's best offense they're going to play against, in my humble opinion. This is test versus weakness versus strength versus weakness for Arkansas is going to downfall them in this game, and they're going to lose. Though I think Liberty wins this game, but I would not be shocked if Arkansas pulls off the win. At Alabama at LSU. Oh, this is a night game. That's a problem, but Alabama's favored by 12. I don't know if they're going to even cover 12 points. Alabama's struggle on the road. They have not covered the spread while Bryce Young's been at quarterback. But I think Alabama wins anyway. I think so. And can they stay disciplined? That's another question. Texas at Kansas State. Texas is favored by 1. Somebody has to lose another conference game here. It's either Kansas State or Texas. Texas with their potential 3rd loss in the Big 12 and 4th loss overall, or Kansas State their 3rd loss overall and 2nd in the Big 12. This is absolutely a letdown game potentially to happen, even though it's at home. And I know Texas got to be kicking themselves for letting Oklahoma State come back from 17 down to beat them in the 4th quarter. I know they got to be kicking themselves. I know they have. They are. I know it. And they do have an interesting game next week against Baylor. And we don't know what time that game is, but I'm just saying. They can't get caught looking ahead. Because Texas is good. And I know for a fact that Will Howard started the last game. I'm not sure he's going to start. Adrian Martinez is going to be even back for this game. I don't know if he is. I know Kansas State's kind of banged up a little bit too. This is just going to be a test. If Kansas State could throw the ball against Oklahoma State, its pass defense was just terrible. But I will also say the Texas pass defense has given up 249.3 passing yards per game. It's not as bad as Oklahoma State's, but it's still not great. And this is by far the best challenge offensively. No offense to Oklahoma State last week. Oklahoma State didn't show up for that game. And this is another road game for Quinn Ewers. This is such a pick 'em. And I'm really struggling to pick a winner here, but chaos is gonna have to happen in the Big 12. And I know it may sound, and Texas does have TCU at home next week, so this is not really a trap game here. Ooh. Ultimately, I really see Kansas State winning this game. But I could be wrong because this is a prime letdown spot. After a dominating win, then they fall flat. So I am not confident about that one. Michigan State at Rutgers. Michigan at Rutgers. Michigan. Clemson at Notre Dame. Why is only Clemson favored by 3.5? I know Notre Dame's offense has been struck. They did really good yesterday. The problem for me is, can Notre Dame score enough to win, and can their defense have enough stops and all? They're very, very similar in defensive numbers when you look at it. The points per game allowed is only 3.1 more for Notre Dame compared to Clemson. Overall, the yards 334 to 325 at 332.5. The pass defense for Clemson has a lot left to be desired. So, and it makes Notre Dame have to throw the ball through the air. I believe Clemson wins this game, but this is November coming up, and upsets do happen. Utah versus Arizona. Arizona's improved, but not improved enough to win. So Utah. NC State versus Wake Forest. Ooh, Wake Forest is coming off of a letdown against Louisville. 6 turnovers in one quarter. 2 of them pick sixes. You don't deserve to win. And we know NC State is without their quarterback for the rest of the year. It sounds crazy. I know. I think NC State loses this game because Sam Hartman's the better quarterback. But I will also say the worst defense of the two is Wake Forest. So I'm picking Wake Forest, though. It's a pickup. UCLA at Arizona State. UCLA. USC versus Cal. USC. So go over one more time. USC, UCLA, Wake Forest, Utah, Clemson, Michigan, Kansas State, Alabama, Liberty, UCF, Syracuse, Kansas, Penn State, Illinois, Oregon, Georgia, Tulane, North Carolina, Texas Tech, Ohio State, and Washington to win their games respectively. I'm not completely confident in all those games. So, we'll have to wait and see what really happens. Anyways, if you like this content, hit the like and subscribe button. See you guys later. It's going to 400 subscribers more by the end of this year.